lesson 3, and we're looking at concepts and equations. So I'm modeling this equation, meaning I'm going to build this problem. And if you guys should have seen this before, because it was on a previous test earlier. So, and it will be again, because I want to make sure everybody's watching these. So I'm going to build these problems. And what it shows at the top, right, is x is equal to the triangles. So I need 4 of those, right? So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now I have 4 of those. And then there's also 2 on this side. So I'm going to take the 2, and what just happened? Why is it doing that? All right, so now I have, 2 circles, which represents this right here, the 2, and I have the 4x. Oop, not 4. How did I make that disappear? Weird. Okay, so now I need 10 of these, right? So I'm going to build this problem, and then I'm going to solve it. So I have the 4 triangles on the side and the 2 circles on this side, and then I have 10 circles on the other side. So the equation is right here. Then I'm going to remove circles from the side that has the triangles so that I get the triangles, the x, right? I want this by itself. So I first need to isolate the 4x. So I want to remove them from this side, right? And if I'm going to remove them from this side, so I'm taking 2 away, this would make it uneven, right? So the balance would be out of sorts there. So I have to take 2 away from the other side. So now 4 triangles are equivalent to 8 circles. So the new equation for this would be 4x equals 8, right? Because I've removed those. So now I'm going to divide the circles into the number of groups given by the number of triangles. Okay, so I have 4 triangles, so I'm going to divide them into 4 groups. Okay, now I'm only going to keep one circle, one group of circles. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all of these circles here. And I'll erase these now. I'm going to keep one of those groups, and I'm going to keep one of these triangles. Okay, so really, ultimately, I've just divided 4 groups, right? So I've gotten rid of that x. So this is what has happened. And now 1x is equal to 2. Okay, and that's the solution to the problem. So when I ask you to model or solve or prove, this is what I'm looking for. Okay, the distributive law, so we use this a lot, and I needed to make sure that you still remember and you still understand how to use this. Okay, so the distributive law means I'm taking this number on the outside and I'm distributing it into the brackets because I'm multiplying by both of these. So what this would mean is that this is 6x, and that's an x. Wow, that's a horrible x. And then this is going to be negative 30. So that is all I need to do here. So I'm just showing how to put it into the problem. Now, this is also going to be moved in. So this is negative 3x, but there's 2 x's, so I have to square that because it's going to, instead of writing negative 3x times x, right? That's ridiculous. X times x, if you remember, if I said this was a 3 and this was a 3, that just means I'm square rooting because I'm multiplying it by itself. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, so that's why I can do that. And then I'm going to put this in here, and I have a negative times a negative, so I'm going to have a positive. And this is going to be positive 12x. Okay, now it doesn't matter which side I put it on, I can still multiply it in. So this is negative 3x plus negative 3, and this is 2x minus 16. Okay, now sometimes it's good to do a problem where I'm putting this inside, but sometimes it's better to do the opposite first. So how do we take this out now? What can we take out? So now I'm going to go in reverse. So I know that 4 can go into both, so I can take 4 out. So I'm going to take out minus 4, because you always want the x to be positive because it makes things easier. So that means that I'm dividing by negative 4, so this would be negative 3. So I've taken that out. Okay, you're going to be doing this, so make sure that you're paying attention. I want you to do this one by yourself, so pause and then come back. Make sure you know how to do it properly. All right, so I'm going to divide by minus 5. I'm going to take out that minus 5, so this is just x, so the x is positive, and then this is going to be 5, so plus 5. Now, here's a situation where it makes sense to take the 3 out. Okay, I could start by adding 12 right here, but I'm going to start by removing the negative 3. So I'm going to move the negative 3 out by dividing both things by negative 3. Okay, so this is 1x, and then this is negative 3 divided by negative 12, which is going to be positive 4, and then I have 33 over here. And the reason why I wanted to do this is so that negative 3 divides into 33 evenly and makes it an easier number to deal with. So now I have 11 and x plus 4. So now I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides, right? Subtract 4 from this. This is, sorry, negative 11. And then I have x is equal to negative 15. So it makes it easier to do. All right, so if we're looking at word problems here, this is something that we haven't really covered, but it has been done in the past, so I just wanted to make sure that you remember how to do this, is finding the average of something. Okay, so if I'm looking at Yellowknife in October in the Northwest Territories, and this is a week of weather, right, 7 days of weather, what you do is I'm going to add all of these together. So I'm going to find the average temperature for the week in Yellowknife. So I just add them together. So I go -1 plus +2, right? Plus -1 plus 0 plus -2 plus -2 plus -3. And this is equal to -7. Okay? And you can double check that if you want. But I know I've done it right. Okay, so then what I look at is how many days do I have? Well, I have 7 days in total here. So I'm going to divide this number by 7 to find out what the average is. And the average temperature was -1, so -1 degrees Celsius. And now I can do the same thing for this one, right? So -1 plus 0 is -1. Plus 1 is 0, plus 0, 0, plus 0, 0, plus -1 is -1, and plus 0 is still -1. So I have -1, and I have 7 days, so I'm going to divide by 7, and that is going to give me, so I have -1 divided by 7, right? And then that's going to give me negative, if I work this out, so -1 divided by 7 is approximately, because I'm going to round this number, okay, is approximately 0.14 degrees Celsius. And then my next question, which city is on average is colder during that week? Well, clearly -1 is further along the number line past 0, so this would be -1, and 0.14 is going to be somewhere in here. So this is obviously Yellowknife is colder. Okay, so you have some problems to work through, and make sure you're coming to the help sessions if you need it.